This video will focus on the recent unsolved case of Nikki Cheng-Saelee McCain, a 39-year-old woman who went missing from Redding, California on May 17, 2024. Because this case is still fairly recent, there isn't a huge amount of verified information out there as of now. Also, much of what is being discussed surrounding the case is alleged and only speculation at this point. I'm trying to be super careful to not make any claims, lol, and this of course tends to happen with newer cases. It's clear that many are confused and upset by this case as I am, and hopefully, more details will be revealed soon. Let's start off with Nikki's background. Nikki Cheng-Saelee was born on November 9, 1984 in Thailand while her parents were living in a refuge camp following the Vietnam War. They would have 4 children total while at this refuge camp before eventually moving to Seattle, Washington and then to Redding, California, where the couple would have 3 more children. She was described by her family as upbeat, positive, and someone who always seemed to find the good in everyone and everything. In the late 2000s, Nikki met a man named Tyler McCain while they were both working at Wind River Resort and Casino in Redding, California. Tyler came across as charming and outgoing but was actually quite shy. He also had a darker side to him. It's reported that Tyler had previous run-ins with the law, including vandalism and felony burglary. Nikki seemed to be able to look past his past mistakes and began a relationship, later getting married in 2010. The couple would go on to have 4 children and lived on a large property in an area just outside of the Rancheria Reservation in California. Their relationship was tumultuous and they would have many ups and downs. Nikki accused Tyler of multiple infidelities, one of which he actually admitted to. They were able to get past this eventually and move forward with their lives. However, things began to get a lot worse in 2020 when the COVID pandemic began. During early 2020, Tyler was working as a spa manager and Nikki was a stay-at-home mom. Once the COVID lockdowns began, the spa shut down, leaving Tyler without a job, meaning he now spent his time at home with Nikki and the children. Tyler apparently began isolating himself in the garage for long periods of time and started to act differently. Because of this, Nikki started speculating that he was using drugs, specifically meth. Whenever Nikki would try to have a conversation with him about this, Tyler would act violently. This would lead to Nikki locking herself and her children in the bathroom to hide from Tyler. There hasn't been any information that I could find on whether or not Tyler abused their children, but it seems as if most of his anger was directed at Nikki and he began to physically abuse her. Nikki's family was not seeing her frequently during this time, so they were not aware of how bad things had become. They later found out that Tyler was not only verbally, but physically abusive towards Nikki, leading to police visiting their home many times. There were multiple witnesses that allegedly saw this abuse happen. One witness said they saw Nikki running barefoot away from her home and screaming for help with bloody feet from running over broken glass. The same witness saw cuts and marks on her face and neck. Another witness recalled seeing Tyler chase Nikki through their yard with a wrench and also witnessed him screaming at her that he was going to quote-unquote cut her head off. Unfortunately, the abuse would continue to go on and Nikki would spend more time with her family members to get away from Tyler's abuse, but would end up going back to him after his pleading and claiming that he would change. The cycle of abuse would continue to go on for years when suddenly, there seemed to be a glimmer of hope. According to Nikki's family, she was finally planning on leaving her husband for good. However, on May 18, 2024, Nikki would communicate with her family via text, and this was the last time she was heard from. 10 days before this day, Nikki was texting loved ones about her plans to leave Tyler after 15 years of marriage. She was reported missing to the Redding Police Department on May 22, 2024, after not being heard from for several days. The case was then turned over to the Shasta County Sheriff's Office, and they are currently handling the case, as of March 2025. A week after her disappearance, the Sheriff's Office said they located her 2002 Chevrolet Avalanche on May 25. At that time, the Sheriff's Office did not disclose where they found her car, except that it was in western Tehama County. Nikki had last told her sisters she was heading to her mother-in-law's property on Redding Rancheria, a Native American reservation in Shasta County according to court documents, as well as Nikki's family. Nikki was due to appear in court for a settlement conference on June 3, 2024. She went missing just a few days prior to that. Her husband, Tyler McCain, was facing 4 felony charges which were for domestic violence, assault, false imprisonment and making criminal threats against Nikki, but the charges were dismissed. On March 10, 2025, Tyler spoke to the media for the first time since Nikki disappeared. He told the media, "I'm just here in support, so anything that I can do, I want to do that." He also had a message for Nikki, saying, "We miss you." Tyler also apologized for not speaking publicly, up to that point. "I haven't been in the public eye, and I haven't done very well with it. I apologize to everyone, especially my children," he said. On March 14, 2025, the Shasta County Sheriff's Office shared a press release on their Facebook page, stating that Nikki's case is now being investigated as a homicide. Based on evidence gathered, information learned from interviews and the fact that none of Nikki's family members have heard from Nikki since May 18, 2024. A search warrant was executed at Nikki's residence that same day. On March 14, 2025, detectives with the Shasta County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit along with agents of Homeland Security and the Federal Bureau of Investigation served a search warrant at 17277 Olinda Road, Anderson. This address is where Nikki McCain resided when she was initially reported missing by family members on May 22, 2024. The sheriff's office noted this was not the first time Nikki's residence has been searched during the investigation. Detectives said that they've issued numerous search warrants, including a prior search warrant at Nikki's residence. The release went on to say authorities have identified persons of interest in what they are now classifying as Nikki's homicide. However, their identities are being withheld due to the ongoing nature of the investigation according to their statements. Anyone with a tip about the case should contact the Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit by calling 530-245-6135 or by emailing mcu@shastacounty.gov. I sincerely hope that Nikki's case will one day be solved and give her the justice she deserves as well as closure for her family members and loved ones. Thanks so much for watching.